Should we support vegan activists like Gary Yourofsky, who clearly hates people? This is sending a bad view of vegans, is the question. Well, Gary Yourofsky, well, let's see, where do we start with this one? Well, Gary Yourofsky, he put up a picture on his Facebook of a swordfish jumping out of the water that a fisherman had reeled in and spearing the guy through the chest and killing the fisherman. And Gary Yourofsky was like, yeah, there's 1-0 to the fish, sort of thing, you know. So that would sort of make it look like, oh, he hates people. He wants the animals to kill all the people. It's not really like that, you know. If you look deeper into Gary Yourofsky, his best friend eats meat. His best friend, who he's been trying to persuade to go vegan for years, still eats meat, but he's still his best friend, right? You know, Gary Yourofsky has friends. He has a wife, and he's got people that he loves. So of course he doesn't hate people, but he is on this this path. He has this mission, and when you're in that place, he's in a place where he needs to affect and impact people in a way that other people can't. So he's got an aggressive type of personality. He has a very warrior-like personality, and he comes across like that. He comes across and he talks about it. He says, you know, he's in a place where it's always 1939, and the Jews are all about to be put into concentration camps, and he's got this view of the animals, right? He is on point. He's vigilant. He's out there, and yes, that's necessary. You know, not many people can do what Gary Yourofsky does, and he's incredible at persuading people and influencing and articulating what it actually is to be vegan, and the impact it has not to be, the effect it has, right? And the effect it has to be. And when you've got someone like Gary Yourofsky who's given this lecture, if you haven't seen his lecture, I've talked about it, I've put links up to it before. The best speech you'll ever hear, Gary Yourofsky lecture on YouTube, you can find it now. He's given that speech thousands of times, and if you just watch it once, you're angry at the end of it. It's hard not to be. The injustice that is done. You see the pain, you see the suffering. He's showing videos, and he's given that thousands and thousands and thousands of times, and he's had to pour his heart and soul into it. He's had to come against massive opposition, where he's gone into universities, University of Ohio, let's say, and given this lecture to the agriculture students that are going to go and partake in working in slaughterhouses and things like that. And he's giving a vegan lecture to them, right? So he's coming up against massive opposition. He's had death threats from hunters, where he's had to have protection and things like that. So of course he's in this place of being like a soldier, right? And so he has a very important role. So it's not that he hates people, but his role makes him, he has to be like that to be who he is. And because not everyone is gonna, it's the softly indirect approach to veganism isn't going to work with many people. A lot of people need that very direct, that very hard-hitting thing that he does. So yeah, he comes across a bit angry. He comes across like he might hate people, but he clearly doesn't, right? But like I said, you watch that lecture once and you feel pretty angry at the end of it. You feel like you want to go up and tell people, shake people. He's given that lecture thousands of times. Put yourself in his shoes for a few seconds, and you probably start trembling at the knees. So I've got full respect for Gary Yourofsky, and we need people like him in the world.